Hello and welcome to the Love Vibe podcast, hosted by Angela and Key, two women from the African diaspora creating space to explore and celebrate the sometimes unheard voices, stories and storytellers that speak to triumph and healing in the face of adversity and trauma. We will look at our connections to ourselves, to others, the environment, ancestry and the stars, yes, astrology. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We welcome you to join us. Now, let's start the show.
All right. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of The Love Vibe. I think this one's going to be pretty fun. It's the middle of the night. First of all, typically we record at like 10:30 on a Sunday, and we've decided to switch it up a little bit on Friday evening. So it'll be a little bit different. But the previous episode you guys would have been Angela doing the relocational astrology. And so it's good to be back. It's good to, have both of us on the show, I think, after a little break. But and I think that one leading into this one is kind of perfect because Angela, like you guys may not know, but Angela and I decided to take a little break and we went on a little holiday together because I needed some time away from the kids. And, who the fuck gonna stop us? So that's what we decided to do. And we ended up going to Adelaide just for the weekend, just for a little getaway. And it was not the getaway that I expected.
No, it wasn't.
But it was good nonetheless. It was still a good experience, but just in a different way. But but the reason why I think it's a good follow-up to the previous one is because one of the things we looked at before we went was where our lines were in that particular city. So we ended up going to Adelaide, and I think my sun line runs through Adelaide. And what is it your Venus?
I was expecting a husband, to be honest with you. I was like, I'm looking at rings. I'm like, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on you. That's what I was all about. I was like,
I don't know if she's going to come home. I think I might be on this flight by myself.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? It's fine. Can you pack up my apartment, please? Because I'm staying.
But to be fair, I mean, you did get a lot of attention while we were there.
And the thing is, I realized I don't notice when people actually when guys are looking at me, I just don't notice at all.
Completely oblivious.
There was like a car of guys like bibbing, and you were like, oh, they're looking at you. And I was like, no, they're not. I was like, no, they're not. And you were like, yes, they are.
They are.
Like, oh, yeah, no, they are. There's no one behind me. I know. It's just nuts, and I just don't pay attention. So,
gotta work on that.
When I say that more Melbourneian men are just not like looking at me, I might have to take that back.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm not looking.
Yeah, you're. I mean, and it could also be the case that like you've been in this environment. So, like, let's just imagine maybe they aren't looking here because here you're on your Chiron line, just like me. And I feel the same way. Like I feel like I never get attention in Melbourne, and it's fine. I'm married, so I don't.
And
really
when I'm with you, guys are looking at you all the time. Sorry to your husband, but yeah, they are.
I know.
I don't want your husband to be watching.
I'm oblivious too. True. I didn't know that.
No, it's actually true. Every time I'm with you, people are like scraining their neck to look at you.
Nah, I definitely don't feel that. But yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take it. That's fine.
But you're a married woman, so I don't ever say anything. So like,
yeah. Thank you.
About that life.
Because I'm kidding. There's been too much wine already. I can feel it. Anyway, so getting back to our trip, I guess so we kind of wanted to talk about it, like the experiences that kind of happened in that trip, because we thought it would be a good takeaway for people. And it was it was a great takeaway for me, essentially. So yeah, so we hop on the flight. We leave after work. So by the time we get to Adelaide, it's like what, 9 o'clock at night is when we got to the house.
39, yeah.
Yeah. And so we walk in, and obviously it's dark, right? And we're like fumbling for the lights and trying to find the lights and shit. And we flip on the lights, and then wham, two massive picture frames of these young boys, like all the way from when they're like in prep all the way to high school, like final year in high school, senior year in high school, are just.
How many years would that be? How many years would that be? Because I know in the UK the school things are different.
Yeah.
Like, so we don't really have high school. So.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, I guess 12 years plus prep would be 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah. So we basically watched these little boys, you know, go, and we were like, oh, yeah.
Get little moustaches.
The chubby phase.
Yeah. And then they get really skinny, and then it's like.
It was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And so it was just it was a little bit of a shock, to be honest, because it's like, this was an Airbnb, and you're just not expecting such personal things as soon as you walk into the house. But it was just like, okay, fine. So we're moving through the house. It's got a long hallway. And we're going through, you know, the different rooms and stuff. And Angela is excitedly like squealing at nice things, because the house is really quite nice. Like, to be honest, the photos on Airbnb didn't really do it justice, I don't think, because it looked much nicer than what I was expecting, even though we chose it because it looked nice. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? So I just remember you being like, oh, and I was just like, what the fuck?
You were so jumpy. I was like, what is going on? I was like, lady, chill.
I know.
You're away from Melbourne. It's like, you know, just enjoy, chill. And you were just every 5 seconds.
I know. I was just like hyper, just hyper like aware of everything. And it was really because that was the thing I thought. I was like, well, maybe it's because I'm not at home. My husband's not here. My kids are not here. I don't know this house. Like, that's kind of what I chalked it up to initially. Yeah. So we're moving through the house. And Angela's like, let me be quiet. I was just like, you okay? What's wrong? She's like, you're so jumpy. You're so fucking jumpy. I was like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm not normally like this. I don't know what's going on. And so we moved to the house, and like, there's even more photos of these kids and like the family. And it was just a little strange. And it was like one photo frame was like one of them had gotten married, and we were like, oh, he's married now. Oh, these are the grandkids. Oh, this it was literally too much. It was a bit overwhelming. And then in the living room on like the back wall, there were like two frames of like jerseys. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot. No, I think we were chatting in the living room, and then we heard the neighbors next door, and you said, can
you hear the neighbors? And then you said, what did you say?
I said, did you say murderers?
And I was like, what? And we were standing quite close to each other,
right next to each other.
I was in a chair, and you were standing right beside me, and I was like, yeah, which way in hell is the neighbors murderers? And yeah, I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
I was just like,
I don't know what's going on here.
I was like, I don't know. That's just, you sure that's not what you said?
No,
I said neighbors. Okay. All right. Chalked it up, left it alone. I think we had dinner, had a bit of a chat, and then we decided to go to bed. And I'm laying in bed. It's the middle of the night. I think we probably went to bed at about 10:30, 11, maybe 11:30 latest. Not like super late. It was a full moon in Virgo that night. So I brought my crystals like specifically because I was like, oh, full moon in Virgo, I need to charge my shit up. Virgo's like organized. Let me get this energy, right? So I put my crystals in the window frame, whatever. And we go to bed, and I can't sleep. And I can't sleep. Like initially I thought like, oh man, I must just be nervous because this is a new house. Oh, no, we got to mention this. Before we went to bed, we looked in your closet and there were all these fucking photo albums. And
like it was reminiscent of like my mum's photo albums.
Same.
It's like, it was just like this, if anyone was to come to the house, that these photos are getting rinsed out. These photos are getting shown to every single person and their dog. And it was a bit weird because it was like, these are prized things, and they're like photos from the 70s. There's
of her pregnancies,
family kind of, and I just
clearly the reason why we know this is because we opened
oh yeah, of course, oh my god, yeah, of course we did.
We went through the photo
social worker. We're just naturally curious nosy. And I just wanted to have a look because they were there, and there were loads of them.
There was a lot. So yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because I think that's probably important. So anyway, so we look at this photo album, and then we had all right, good night, girl. See you in the morning. We going to the beach, and I go to bed, and I lay down, and I turn off the light, and just footsteps, doors opening, cabinets opening and closing. Literally sounded like someone was in the kitchen eating a fucking bowl of cereal. Like the spoon, like in a bowl clean, that noise, like of someone eating. That's exactly what it sounded like. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I was like, this is weird. And I wasn't like too stressed about, like, I was still like very jumpy and still with that like heavy nervous energy. But then I literally felt like someone walked past me. And that's when I shot up out of bed and turned on the light. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm not ready for what the fuck is going on. It was just too much. It was just too much. And so I just sat up for a while, lights on, and then I laid back down and tried to go to sleep. Noise is still happening, but I'm like, the lights on, I should be okay. Someone walks past me again, and I'm like, okay, I just need to make it to the morning, and then I can process all of this and I'll be fine. So eventually drift off, fall asleep, blah, 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 turn off the light. And I wake up in the morning, massive fucking headache. Like I'm exhausted. I'm shattered. Like I had very little sleep. And then I think we wake up and I ask you like, yo, how did you sleep last night?
Yeah.
Did you hear all that shit?
I'm like, my nickname for myself is the sleep monster because I just love to sleep. So the idea of going somewhere that's meant to be relaxing and not sleeping is like, but why? So yeah, but why? Yeah. So I was tossing and turning, and I was like, oh, the pillow's too high, the pillow's too whatever. And then in the middle of the night, at one point, I think I was sleeping, and then suddenly I'm up. Like
yes, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
But from the dream state, it's like, that's not fair, man.
Yeah.
That is not fair. That's not fair. I was there in the dream place, and suddenly I'm up awake in the bed, and I'm like, that is not me at all.
Right.
Ever in this life or in any other lifetimes does that ever happen to me? So I was like, and obviously then by the morning when you start talking about some of your things, I was just like, oh, okay, this is a special house. This is a special house.
And the thing was like, for me though, it was like, why is this a special house? Like what the fuck's going on? Right. And then I remember like, okay, Adelaide is the city of churches. Like there's a church on every corner. Okay. So I started to sort of like calm down a little bit, but I still had this massive headache. So anyway, so we wake up the next day. We like, how you sleep? How you sleep? And we're like, girl, not good. What the fuck? Something going on in this house. All right, let's go get something to eat. So we go to the cafe and we have a really lovely breakfast. Like I was really quite happy with that breakfast. Not super happy with the service, but this becomes a trend later on. And so while we're at breakfast, we are deciding like where we're going to go for dinner. And the place that we both decide on is like this Afghani place. And it looks really cool and like, I don't know, just really trendy and laid back and chill. And the food looks amazing. He's like, all right, let's do this. And we go to book it or you go to book it and you're like, oh, they're all booked out. Fuck. All right. Back to the drawing board. So we're going back and forth looking at, menu items and different menus and stuff. And we finally decide on this place. And we're like, all right, cool. This is where we go. We book it. And then we head to the beach. We get to the beach. Beach is beautiful. And I feel terrible because the sun is fucking beating down on my brain and the other side of it is just pulsating. And I'm like, yo, I don't feel good. I really need some sleep. And so and it was so funny because you were like this is an internal conversation for me, right? I'm like, yeah, I really need to go. Like this, I can't be out here like this. Like I'm not well enough to be out here. And you're literally sitting next to me. I could stay out here forever.
I'm there like swimming in the sea, and I'm like with my swimsuit on and I'm feeling myself and I'm like, yeah, I'm like with my phone. I'm like, yeah, man, I could be a model.
Yeah. It was real. I was like, oh, how am I gonna tell her this? So I hope, I can't even really remember because this is a couple of weeks ago, well, like a month ago now. I feel like that we went, but I want to say that I was like, yo, you can stay and I'll just go. But I don't know if I said that actually. I just was so like, I need to leave. But anyway, so we ended up going and we walked back. I get some medicine and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to take this medicine and take a nap. So I take a nap and I think you ended up taking a bath or something and just like relaxing and chilling out because our dinner was booked for 8 p.m. that night. So I wake up from the nap. Angela's nowhere in sight. So I'm like, okay, she's probably in her room chilling. I don't want to disturb her. Like I've already fucked up a day by dragging her off of the beach. Like, let her chill out. So I'm walking around the house. I have me a little thing of water, whatever. And I'm looking at all these photos and shit. And then I finally get to these jerseys again, because we briefly looked at them, but I finally get to these jerseys again. And I'm thinking, because there's 2 frames of jerseys. So I'm thinking one frame's for one boy and one frame's for the other boy. But then I realized like, oh no, these are both for the same boy. That's really weird. And then I noticed there's this little gold plaque like on the bottom of each of the frames. And I go to read it because I didn't read it the night before. And it's like some shit like our gentle giant, always looking over us, gone but never forgotten. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is he dead? What the fuck? Google, because researching is in my bones. I'm just... I need to know. I find a tribute page on fucking Facebook. I was just like, where the fuck is Angela? I think the second you came out of your room, I was like, girl, he's dead. You were like, what?
I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, it makes sense.
That's what it is, right?
What's going on in this yard.
That's exactly what it is. And so I'm just like, oh, okay. And it's funny because literally 2 days before we went on this trip, I was looking at my chart and I saw my Neptune is at 0 degrees, which means I can be either completely open or completely closed to sort of spiritual stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I would like to be open. Why do that?
Adelaide. Adelaide was where you were tested.
Girl, and I failed because like I'm scared. This is scary. But so then he's like, okay, well, he's passed away. All right, cool, whatever. I mean, it wasn't cool, whatever, but it was just like, oh, okay, that's good to know. Like now we know sort of what's going on. Let me rephrase. That's what we said. And
Would you say that the Airbnb was a bit of a shrine type? Was and then it started to become a little bit more real. It was just like, oh, this is this home is really personal.
It is. And it's
Really
clear
personal.
that this is a mother that is still grieving, and she hasn't let him go, which is why he's still here. Do you know what I mean?
Cereal in the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then the other thing that was interesting was before we leave, like we start to kind of explore the outside of the house. But as we're trying to do that, like there's all these fucking sticks in the tracks of the doors. And it's like
Open and close. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's really, really, my mom used to do shit like that. Like, these little tiny sticks in the tracks. And it was like, wow, it's rudimentary, but it's pretty effective. And like you not trying to let motherfuckers in here, but okay, this doesn't seem like the hood. Like this doesn't seem like a ghetto area. So this is very strange. And then the other thing we noticed was like, she had like security roller, electric security roller. Like you push a button and these roller things came down. It's like metal. I don't even know what you call them. Like
they have them a lot in Europe.
Yeah.
European countries have them a lot when people go away for holidays and they just lock. So essentially, when you put those metal shutters down, you've basically secured your home, and you can walk away like skipping away, going, "My house is secure."
Yeah, like in some apocalypse type shit.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit like, but like you were right. It's like I don't feel like we're in that type of area.
No.
But obviously this is where we have found ourselves, in this shrine, where the owners don't really want you to, they don't want anyone to, it's a really strange, it was strange.
It was really strange. But then it kind of like so it's like a high level, because then we checked the window, because I was like, I wonder if she puts them in the windows, and we checked the windows, and every window had a stick in the track as well, even in the bedrooms. And I was
you couldn't just open the window with abandon. You couldn't just go, oh no.
Absolutely. You would have broke the fucking you'd have broke the fucking window or the stick. Something would have happened, you know? So it was like, okay, was it a forced entry situation with the son and why he passed away? Because we starting to connect the dots and stuff. It's like, well, why did I say murderers the other night? Like, this is this is very strange. Like, unfortunately, I was never able to find out sort of what he passed away from, or how he passed away. But, I have my suspicions. And so I think before we left for dinner that night, you were like, well, what are you going to do? What, clearly this son is visiting you, or he's making his presence known at the very least. What are you going to do? And I was like, oh, shit, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to meditate and, tell him, hey, look, we're just Airbnb guests, buddy. I don't know what you want from me, but we're not here to hurt your mom or, take anything or anything like that. Like, and, if I can, and if you want, please feel free to tell me something so that I can relay it to her. I would be happy to do that for you. And so you were like, all right, sounds good. Let's go get dinner. So we head into the city, and we go to a bar, and then we get ready. So we go to the bar, we chill out. And I think we went to this bar that's like New Orleans inspired. And so I ordered this like hot shrimp dip. And I was like, okay. And it comes out with fucking tortilla chips. Are we in NOLA or like Mexico? I mean, these are deconstructed nachos.
Like, give me some bread. You were like, I want bread.
Something. So I was very annoyed. I was like, this is not NOLA. These are deconstructed nachos. Will not return. 0 out of 10. It's ghetto here. So anyway, so we leave that place, and we end up like heading to the getting ready to go to the dinner spot, which is at 8 p.m. And we pull it up on the map, and Adelaide's not a big city by any stretch of the imagination. It's not huge at all. But the dinner spot is on the other side of the city, of the city, which would have been simple if we could have called an Uber or called, I don't know why we didn't catch an Uber. Maybe because we thought it was just too.
It was too close. It
Yeah,
felt too close.
because it would have been like a 5-minute drive, and the Uber driver would have been like, "Bitch, y'all can walk," So anyway, so we thought we'd take public
away.
Right, exactly. So we were like, all right, cool. We'll just take public transport at this point. So we're waiting for this fucking bus. And like one bus goes by, another bus goes by, a third bus goes by. And the bus that we need still hasn't come. And it's already like 7:15, what was it? 7:15, 7:20? And it was going to take us like 20 minutes to walk to this restaurant. So we were like, fuck, we got to walk. Angela's in her wedges. Poor thing. And I'm originally from New York. I mean, you're from London, so I think we both know how to book it when we need to book it.
Yeah. But my wedges, and I was like, I was wearing a really nice outfit, and I was it would be really terrible to take a tumble on uneven cobblestones.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been.
I was like walking like this, trying to get there. But yeah.
But yeah, that's where the honking came in. Like, that's where the honking came in. And I was like, well, they honking at you, girl. And you were like, what? What?
Okay.
Well, they're gone now, but
okay.
They've driven past. But yeah. So anyway, so we're on the main road, and I'm like, all right, let's get off the main road. Let's cut down this street, and this puts us on the street that the restaurant is actually on. So it's just a straight shot from here on out. So we turn off the main street and go down this other street. And then suddenly, like as soon as we hit that corner of like where the street that the restaurant goes on, energy shifts straight away. And I'm just like, oh, we're in a different part of town. What the fuck? Why take us down here? What's this about? And it's just like, I mean, we came from a part of the city where it was like trendy and sort of a young crowd, summer dresses and, guys in chinos, shit like that. And we're going down this street and it's like tattoos, which aren't bad, but when you add it on top of everything else, so it's like everyone's smoking, everyone's got tattoos, everyone's kind of dressed like, I don't know, sleazy. And then you look up at the buildings and okay, it's a nightclub and this is a brothel and this is a strip joint and da da da. So this is the part of town we're in. Again, totally fine part of town. But for me personally, I'm very hyper aware of sort of how shit changes quickly in those parts of town. So like as we're walking through, you could already see little arguments sparking up here and there. And I'm like, all right, we need to get where we need to be.
So we were clip clopping in wedges.
Yep. And I was in flip-flops.
Uneven surfaces. Trying to get to our dinner appointment, which we don't want to be late for.
Right, exactly.
It was like, well, if we're late for this and they say no, where are we going to eat?
Yeah, because every fucking place was booked out because we didn't know that the Fringe Festival was on while we were there. So that's neither here nor there. But so as we're walking through this part of town, it was like, it was almost like everyone else around us could feel our energy because it literally felt like the sea parting, like people just moved out of the way as we were one. Thank you. And I just kept walking. And then as soon as we got to sort of the corner of like the next sort of corner, energy shifts automatically again. And I look up and it's like University of Adelaide. And so now the crowd is like a young crowd. It's like young adults and, kids in school and stuff like that. And I'm like a little bit more relaxed. Okay, cool. So we cross the street, we get to the restaurant and I mean, clearly out of breath. I feel like
it was a warm night, so I was glowing. Let's just say that.
Yeah, like we walked. It was like reservation at 8 for Angela. 2 people. the hostess was like, y'all all right?
Yeah, we're hungry.
Yeah, took a lot for us to get here. You should appreciate that. So get seated, we sit down, and it gets a little hazy for me here because I feel like we ordered water and it was like, I think you wanted still water and I was like, I would like sparkling, please. And so she had to bring out 2. So maybe she was aggravated from jump. I don't know. But then I feel like you went to the bathroom and you were like, order this wine for me, if she comes for the drinks. And I was like, cool. All right. Yeah, I can handle that. It's not a problem. I'm an adult. And, but she never fucking comes. And so like you go to the toilet, you come back from the toilet. I still don't even have a drink. I'm like, what? She ain't come yet. So sorry. So I think she comes like a couple minutes after that. We get our drinks. And then we wait. Essentially. We're chatting almost an hour. Yeah. We're just chatting, having a good time. And then the people, so the section is full, like every table is full. The people next to us get up and they go. This is about 45 minutes into us being there. And then she comes out and like clears the table. Okay.
Do we have a drink that is not water, sparkling or still? No. We don't have anything.
Nothing. And then she clears the table, like the dishes, and then comes back and has a little spray bottle. She sprays the table. She wipes it down. Okay. She leaves. And she comes back and she dries the fucking table. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe she just really like cleaning tables. I don't know. Maybe that's what she enjoys about her role. I don't know. And then she comes back and she's setting the table, but another waitress comes with her. And so that's when I think you were like, excuse me.
Oh, hello. We're paying with money, not buttons. Can we get some food?
Haven't placed our order yet. Now, and to the other woman's credit, to the other waitress's credit, she drops everything. She's like, oh yeah, no worries. But she wasn't our waitress. The other woman was, who continued to set up the other fucking table for the next party. Okay, cool. She takes our order. She goes away, puts our order in, and the new people come and sit down
on the table that the lady was like being really
very precious about. Yeah. And so they sit down and they get their water, and we've got our drinks by now. And then they get their drinks. Mind you, we ordered before they even sat down. And then they get their order taken very, very much like earlier and quicker than we did. But okay. And then their food comes out.
I was like, what? Are you serious?
Am I invisible?
By this time, we've walked. We've done like a power walk in proper, like going out shoes, and we're really hungry. It's been an hour. We've had water, still and sparkling, and wine. So
starving. I mean, I did have that hot shrimp dip with Tostitos.
You did, but I didn't have anything.
No, you didn't. You had absolutely nothing, except for a very sweet drink that you had to.
I sent back about 5 million times.
Yeah, it was so funny. It's too sweet.
I was like, I'm a grown lady. I'm not a child. This is not dilute orange drink.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
This, like, you need to. Yeah, the guy took it back about 5 times.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was very patient, so that was good. He managed.
I'm paying with money, not buttons. I don't know what people don't understand.
That's true.
Paying with money.
But so what happened then? So we get our food, and I don't think you were very impressed with the food. I ordered a steak because it was like the only thing on the menu that I wanted to eat. And I was like, oh, do I need to get vegetables as well? Or, and then I look at the thing and I'm like, oh, it has leeks. That's fine. I'll just have that. And it comes out, and these little fucking fucking shriveled little pieces of just. I was like, what the fuck is this? Those are the leeks. Oh, okay. Let me know. I just have a steak for dinner. Great. Yes, that's my fault. I should have asked. Fucking hell. So we have, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get some more food. So I ended up ordering a dessert as well. But it was just like, I think you were like, she was like, oh, do you want another drink? And I was like, I'm good. And I think you were like, yeah, could you just bring it out with her dessert? Like just bring out another glass of rosé with her dessert. And she brings out my dessert, walks away immediately. Oh, actually, no. Let's back up, because we tell her like, so that the people next to us get their food, and we're like, next time she comes around, we're like, yo, excuse me, where's our where's our food? And she's like, oh yeah, I just spoke to the chef, and it's going to be another 5 minutes, and our head chef has COVID. And you and I are both like, what the fuck does that have to do?
Got COVID. Why has everyone in this restaurant got food?
And then, but what's wild to me is that when she said that, I think she knew how much bullshit it was, because she just mumbled and walked away. She's like, yeah, the head chef has COVID, and and just walked off. And we're just left there like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's coming in 5 minutes. I don't know, but it does come out soon after that. And that's when I was like, okay, clearly I need more food, because this is just a steak. And so you ask her to bring out the wine with the dessert. She brings out the dessert, fucks off, and then comes back like 5 minutes later, like, do you still want that wine? And you're just like, no, I don't. No, instructions were simple. Bring it out with the dessert. What was so hard about that? I don't understand. So then we're just sitting there waiting to get the check. And it's so funny, because you were like, well, let's just get up and walk out and see what the fuck happens. Maybe we won't have to pay. But of course they grab us, they're like, oh, whoa, you ladies have a good evening. And we're like, oh, yeah, it was all right. Like very non-committal, just like, it was okay. And then he's like, oh, I'm pretty sure he asked us if we wanted to split the bill. And I'm pretty sure he did, because then I was like, oh, we can split. Yeah. So I've had the steak. And then immediately he was like, oh, no. I can't split it like that. You're going to have to work it out. And then he like fumbles around and finds a calculator and throws the fucking calculator like in my direction. And so I pick the calculator up and I just throw it back at him. And I'm like, that's fine. Just split it down the middle. We'll work it out later, sort of thing. And I think that's when you were like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah. And he was like, well, how was your meal? And I was like, okay, we're going to talk some realness now. And I was like, you know what? Service. People are coming here with their hard-earned money. Service is really important. And if I see that other people are getting service and I'm not getting service and I'm this, do you know what I mean? And he was
the
like,
only two as well.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no, the chef had COVID. And I was like, you know what? This is not what I want to hear from you. It's really important that you listen to what I said. And the waitress that actually took our order was close by. And I said, look, this lady over here was the only person who was interested in the fact that we were patrons in this place.
Yep.
Everybody else didn't want to serve us, didn't want to look in our direction, and weren't interested in what our needs were in terms of being in your establishment. He didn't want to hear it. But I was like, you know what? You're going to have to hear it. Because if I don't tell you what the issues are, I'm going to walk out with all of that, all of those feelings and all of that energy. And already the night before, I couldn't sleep. There was no way I was going to have another sleepless night because of someone else's incompetence. And you know what? It's, and I think I said to you, it's like, know thyself. I can, on the outside, there are elements of I'm a Gemini, so there are elements of me that are as hard as steel and a little bit blunt. But there's another side to me that is that I understand myself and my tender spots. And so for me, I know that when I sense injustice, and particularly directed towards myself,
Yeah.
if I don't take the opportunity to place that energy where it needs to be, I take it in deeply, and it's very harmful to me. And as a Black woman, around race and around gender and around all those other things, if I don't, and I think that's the universe's challenge to me in my life, is to put things where they're meant to be. And if I don't take those opportunities to say, do, act, be in alignment with my own values, and to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speak up for myself. It's such a detriment to me. I can go a week or two of being really disturbed by these, like, I don't know what you want to call them, microaggressions, inhumane behavior, and what I call injustice. And in that moment, I was like, I didn't sleep last night. Hell no. Hell to the no.
Hell to the no.
I am not taking this stuff with me for me to go, as soon as I walk outside, I'll be like, I should have said this and I should have said that. No, we're not doing that tonight. Because you left thirsty and hungry. You're going to take it. I'm going to give it to you and you're going to take it. And he was like, no, but, and I was like, I'm not interested in your help, in your no, and in your but. You need to listen to what I've got to say. Because it's just unacceptable. And for whatever reason, you've decided, this establishment has decided that, only certain people can get decent treatment. And I'm going to tell you about yourself.
Yeah. Now you did really well. Like, I was really impressed by how well you handled him, essentially. Like, because when I tell you, he tried to interject at every fucking chance he could. Angela was just like, no.
Not having it.
And just shut him down. And he wasn't even able to get a word in. So it was really good because, like you said, like, you were able to leave that all with him. And so you were free of it. You were clear of it, And that's a really good. And I think that's why this episode is really good, because it talks a lot about energy, and in your sort of experience, leaving it where it is meant to lay, right?
It's all about know thyself, isn't it? It's like,
absolutely.
The cost to me of those things, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's like, but the cuts are only to you. If I don't do what I know that I'm meant to do, and you know what, I do it diplomatically. I do it, there's no brawling, there's no shouting. And even if there was, so what? You know what I mean? Not in this instance, there wasn't. But do you know what I mean? It's not, I'm not trying to play respectability politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We done with that.
I'm just saying, I can be diplomatic and I can say, look, unacceptable. You guys need to do better. And when Black people come in here, I want you to think twice.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
Black folks come in here.
And to be honest, I think they probably will. Do you know what I mean?
And I really hope that they do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's just food. You're not finding the cure for cancer, and you're not like sending someone into space. There's nothing. You're just serving food.
Yeah.
So why can't everyone be treated in an egalitarian way? It's just food.
It's wild. It's 2022.
It's wild.
It's wild. Like, we still dealing with this? Y'all serious in this motherfucker?
Yeah, 2022, Adelaide, South Australia. Yeah,
wild. Yeah, and
in the middle of the city,
in the
not
middle
even
of the city.
outside in the countryside.
Nah.
I'm not going to get off tangent, but you know what? That's why I don't like sometimes the countryside. But anyway, that's another story. We weren't in the countryside. We were in the middle.
We were. I mean, we were in the
middle of a fringe festival.
Outer suburbs is where we were sleeping, but in the city, for dinner and that. So that was the experience at dinner. And we'll just say, clearly it was racism. Like, we were racially profiled, racially treated, whatever you want to call it. So that was interesting. But the takeaway, I think, for me from that experience was watching you kind of leave that energy where it should rest, which is, with them. And so that was a good lesson for me, because it's like, I don't know that I know I'm always do, because I didn't say anything. I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like before.
Take your calculator.
Right? Like, you just threw this shit at me, fam. Like, I might catch a case. Like, I'm not the one. So I'm still learning, you know what I mean, to eloquently voice my issues with people, as opposed to just going completely left. So that was a good lesson for me in that respect. So then we get back to the apartment the house, the Airbnb or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to do this meditation and, figure out what homeboy want in the house. And you were like, all right, girl, well, good luck.
Thank God he's not troubling me.
Which is wild to me, because you're the one with all the fucking planets in your 12th house. I was like, he should be in her room.
No.
Bothering her.
Stay there.
So I do the meditation. And while I'm in meditation, I'm like, okay, hey, buddy, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so long story short, it's like, I get like this, like my left palm starts sort of palpitating. And then suddenly there's an image of a heart in my palm. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Don't know what that is. And then after that, I get an image of a white dog, like running through my mind. And I'm like, okay, dude, I don't know have a good night. I'm going to bed. This doesn't make sense to me. So I go to sleep, and there's like one massive noise in the middle of the night. And I'm just like, do your thing. And I think you heard it as well. So it may not have even been him. Like, it might've just been something that naturally happened. I don't know, but I wasn't like, I was tired, and I was like, I'm not having another one of those nights. So good night, sir. So I wake up in the morning, you like, how'd it go? Da, da, da. So I tell you, and I'm like, yeah. And then the image of the dog came through my mind. And I was like, this isn't making any sense. So I just go to bed, and you're like, oh no, there is a dog.
Yeah, there is a dog. Because when we came back from the beach, and I bought the Epsom salts, and I was gonna have a bath. I was trying to find a towel, because the lady only gave us one towel.
Yo, she locked up everything in that house.
Yeah, it was locked up tight. So anyway, I was on my journey to try and find a towel. I found all this like dog food, dog things, dog coats, dog things. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because the house doesn't smell like there's a dog. And I'm a non-dog person completely. And so if I go into a space, I'm like, there's a dog in this place. But in this Airbnb, there was no sign of any dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying to you, yeah, there's a dog here.
And I was just like, what? What you mean? What you mean there's a dog?
There's a whole thing of dog food, like a whole
like, and what's wild to me though is like, I was in that laundry like twice, because I brought dresses, and so I had to iron all these dresses and shit for us before we went out. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see, because I guess because I didn't go through any of the cupboards. Like I didn't go through anything. But when you took me, you were like, yeah, look down here, and there's like this whole kibble tray and shit, and then like behind the door there was.
Is that what it's called?
Kibble, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a dog now, but I used to have dogs.
I'm a no dog.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right. I don't know what to do with that information. So we go to breakfast, and another weird things happens at breakfast. So our driver, our DD driver or whatever, we pull up at the breakfast place that we're gonna go to. And he pulls my bag out of the trunk, and then he goes to walk back in his car. Excuse me.
I'm like, my bag is still in the back of this thing. And the guy looks at me as if to say, but you can do it yourself. And I was like, you don't know who you're even talking to.
No, and I was just like, can you just get a bag
you
out?
Need to get the bag. you actually
just get a bag out.
Get the bag. Yeah, because I was like, how do you do this? You take your bag out, but you think that I should. And it's like, in which
really
universe?
Bizarre. Really bizarre. I was shocked. I was shocked. I was just like, what? How does this make sense to you in your mind?
he will only take out your bag and not mine.
There are 2 guests in your car.
And I was like, dude, we're going to leave this energy where it needs to be. Pick up my bag.
Yeah. And he did. He did.
My bag.
He did. He picked it up.
He did. He did. But there was an uncomfortable, awkward moment.
It was really awkward. It was super awkward because it was just like, what is happening right now? What do you mean? What do you mean she has to get her bag get the fucking bag out of the car, dude? Like, what are you doing?
He was about to go and sit in the front, go and drive off.
I guess with your bag. I don't know. Maybe he thought you had like mad, shit in there. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was really
and I
bizarre.
still to this day, and I'm going, was he Indian?
Yeah.
He was like Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi,
Sri Lankan, whatever. Yeah.
And I was
South Asian.
South Asian.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this colorism? I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't sure if it was like a colorism thing, or I wasn't sure if it was just like, it was just tired, or I didn't know, but it was quite strange.
It was weird. It was just a weird situation that was just like, what it literally just felt like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. It did feel
what are we doing, fam? Like, what's going on?
We've stepped into somewhere else.
Yeah, it was. I think Adelaide is somewhere else, to be honest. Like, the energy in that place just, and for me, I guess the takeaway was, one, I need to be, if I'm going to open up, so according to my Neptune, if I'm going to open up, then I need to put boundaries in place to make sure that I'm only allowing in what I want to allow in. So that was the big takeaway from me. And then also, so this wasn't the first time that something along those lines has happened to me. It was just, it's been a very long time, right? Because the last time that happened to me was probably, it was college. And it was a very freaky situation where, like, me and a friend walked into another friend's apartment, and I walked straight to the bathroom and vomited. And I was like, I can't stay in here. And my other friend was like, the friend that I came with was like, yo, there's somebody in the corner of this room. I got to get the fuck out of here. And so we just bounced. Like, we literally walked in and walked out. Like, that's how serious the energy was in that space. And from that moment forward, I was like, yo, I don't ever want to deal with this again. Like, this is not cool. And I think it's just because back then I didn't know what I was dealing with. I didn't know how to handle it. And not that I do now, but I am a bit more aware now of what it is and what's actually happening. So when I walked into that house, initially, that wasn't me being, jumpy and scared. That was me responding to the energy that was already in the house. Because I remember you saying something like, oh, it's a lot of love in this house. And I was like, I don't know.
You're like,
So I don't know if this is love. I don't know. Don't know what's happening, but this feels weird. Like this, I think that's what I said. I was like, this feels weird. It feels weird in here. And then come to find out, you know what I mean? Like, her son had passed away, and, she's grieving, and she's basically created a shrine in her house to him, and he's still there. You know what I mean? He's very much with her. Which is, I guess, good in its own way for her, if she's comfortable with that.
But does it need to be an Airbnb? That's my question.
It does not. That's not. You can't be putting people through that shit. You know what I mean?
I think
just
she would
walking into it unaware.
She'd be horrified if she knew.
Listen,
like, what some of the Airbnb people may have been experiencing, unbeknownst to them, the things that go bump in the night.
You got to do reviews for Airbnbs, right? So I get the notification, like, such and such wants you to review her place, and she'll review you as well. And I'm like, fuck. What do I say? What do I tell her? Do I say anything? And
we were ghosted. No, in like in the real term, not in a dating term, in the real
exactly
term, the ghost came.
And so I asked my husband, I was like, what should I tell her? Should I say something to her? He was like, well, what would you say? And I was like, well, I would probably say your home's beautiful. And, we had a really good time. Um, so sorry that, you lost your son. I could feel, that you loved him very much. I'm not a psychic or a medium, but I can confidently tell you that he is there with you. He is still there with you. And my husband was like, no, no, don't say that. I was like, all right. So I just left it. I was like, all right. Because and the reason why like he said that was because from my perspective anyway, was even though my intentions are good and honest and pure, like there's no ill intent here. It's literally like your son is there and he loves you. That's all I want you to know. I don't know how that's going to impact her in her life and where she is in her process of dealing with the fact that he's not there. So I was just like, all right, place was great. We had a great time. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10.
Knowing that people going in there are going to be like haunted house.
I know. And I feel so terrible, but it's like, what am I going to do?
It might not be your responsibility.
I don't think it is. And I don't think people are going to go there 2 days prior to saying, I want to be open to spiritual experiences. I think they'll be fine. And then doubling back for me on sort of the dinner that we had. So when we were at the cafe in the morning and we were deciding on where we were going to go, and you handed me your phone to look at the menu, as I was looking at the menu for the restaurant that we ended up going to, where we experienced hella racism, I was like, I don't know if I want to go here. Like, there's not a lot on the menu. Like, the only thing I'll probably eat is a steak, da, da, da. And I think you definitely picked up on that because you were like, no, you don't want to go there. You're not feeling it, da, da, da. And then I was just like, no, I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to be easy today. And then I realized in hindsight, right, like going with the flow it's about going with the flow within yourself. And that's not what I did. I was like, I'll just go to this place because clearly she likes it and it's the easiest place to go to. Like, we found a place and it's hard to find. I made all of these excuses as to why I should do it and not listen to sort of my inner self. Mind you, had I listened to myself and said, nah, we need to find a different place, and been a bit of a pain in the ass, we probably would have sidestepped a lot of racism that night. So, yeah. But everything happens for a reason, and it's all a lesson. So for me, that lesson was you need to listen to yourself and be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? And be true to yourself. So I honor yourself, I guess, is more the thing. So we're working on that. We're figuring that out day by day. It's a hard job. Because then you realize like, oh, how I've been going a long time without honoring myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like having inner dialogue and inner thoughts like, nah, this isn't for you, or, you don't really want to do this. Like, nah, but everybody else wants to. So let's be a team player, You know what I mean? It's like, nah, fuck that. Stop being a team player. Do you. So yeah.
Because you know what? When you do you, it always works out. And this is what I've realized over the past few years is that sometimes when you just say what you need and what you want, it always seems to work out. Because you'll say, oh, I don't really want to do that. And then someone will go, oh yeah, let's not do that. You know what I mean? and it all comes out in the wash, and it's and it is amazing when that happens. And it always happens. It's always meant to happen. Because it's meant to just work in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's like an experiment, isn't it?
It is.
You get to experiment about, pushing your needs forward, and that the universe makes space for it because it's meant to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was our trip.
Yeah. Haunted house. Ghosted, but not in a dating way.
No.
You know, how you just stay in line with what you need and how you stay true to who you are, even in like difficult circumstances, and not having to second guess yourself about, you know, the service that people want to provide to you, you know, how people view you. But it's not just one-way traffic.
No.
It's also you can also meet it as well and go, no, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here, and this is what I need. This is what I think. And, you know, it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think overall for me, and I think, you know, I kind of prefaced this in the beginning, it was a good trip for the experience, right? Like that trip taught me a lot about sort of where I am on my spiritual journey and kind of my weak areas and where I need to sort of kind of hyper focus a little bit and build up some boundaries and stuff like that. And I think like when I think about it in terms of setting boundaries, I'm not very good at it. So it's something that I definitely need. And my Pluto is at 0 degrees as well. So that would be why I'm not very good at setting boundaries.
But did your detective come out?
Sorry?
Your detective came out.
It did.
Yeah, it's like detective extraordinaire.
Yeah, I do have that. That's very much in there.
I'm gonna call you Key Poirot.
Okay.
You know that Belgium
English
Agatha Christie detective, but we're gonna call you Key Poirot.
Okay. All right. I'll take it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how this man died, but but yeah, it was a good experience for me to like, okay, I need to work on boundaries, especially when it comes to supernatural stuff, because I mean, I forgot that I've had those sorts of experience and I could tap into that sort of realm, I guess, so to speak. But I do need some boundaries up when I do that, because shit can come in willy-nilly and that's not good for nobody involved. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm looking forward to the next trip. Hopefully not to Adelaide though. I think I've had my fill of Adelaide.
Sydney.
Yeah.
I suppose in every story there is a kind of not like, obviously there's a tale, but there's also, you know, bits that you can pick out of every story. And obviously we've done that with our trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great trip.
It was.
And we learned a lot. And what we'd really love for you as the listener to do is we'd really like your comments. I really would love to hear of more haunted house Airbnb ghostings, like not the dating ghostings, but the real kind of like because I'm sure this must happen quite regular. So we'd love to hear from you in the comments. And we'd love for you to like and subscribe. And please remember to hit the bell button, because that will let you know when we've got our next podcasts coming up. And yeah, thank you very much.
And share this as well, guys, because to help us grow, essentially, is the plan. Yeah. So that would be amazing as well. We would really appreciate it. But until next time, have a lovely evening, and we'll chat to you guys soon.
Bye.